Yeah, I think it's a lot of excitement for the fixture. We've been in some of the recent semi-finals and not too long ago in a final. So I think that sort of feeling of being at the back end of tournaments, that exciting feeling and the feeling of winning our first trophy, I think it has gone through the squad. So it's a lot of excitement. Obviously, playing a home game against a formidable opponent like Sundowns, I think just adds to the occasion. So yeah, we're really looking forward to the match. A lot of confidence, a lot of belief within the squad. So yeah, we just can't wait for it to happen.
Questions?
Coach, obviously they're newly crowned champions as well. Does that add nice little extra motivation now that that's out of the way? But you wouldn't mind ending their celebrations a little earlier this week?
No, yeah, congratulations to Sundowns for winning their 7th league title in a row. In the league they were by far the best team and got the job done nice and early, so congratulations to them. We do play them in a league game in 2 weeks' time, so we'll give them a guard of honour then, but not on Sunday. It's a different competition. But yeah, well done to Sundowns. It does obviously add, I think any team in South Africa, and we're one of them, is that ultimately we want to also be challenging to win titles. So they are the benchmark. It's a great opportunity for us as a club, as a team, as individuals to gauge where we are. Obviously we're also having a really good season, but this is the ultimate test in a semi-final of the Nedbank Cup, the Cup of Dreams. So definitely it adds to the occasion, and it'll be interesting to see our run and how we've done playing against them, who are also obviously on a really good run of form, to see where we're at.
Coach, like Ted was saying, the work you guys have been putting into the team is starting to show. In fact, it has shown. Second semi-final in a row of the same cup. Do you feel you have arrived where you wanted to be at, or you have achieved the goal you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, I think there's obviously more to what we want to achieve as a club over long term, and we want sustainable success. So it's not just success in one season, but we want to have success for many years to come. But I think to be able to do that, good foundations have to be laid, and I think a lot of that type of work has been laid at the club. Building solid foundations, building a strong youth development program, having a really good, solid Diski team with a lot of talented players that have the ability to come into the first team. And then obviously, really good, smart and quality recruitment to keep and make us as competitive as we are. So I wouldn't say we've arrived. I would just say that we're on the right progression and the right trajectory as a football club, the way we want to be doing it. So obviously still a lot of work to be done this season. Still a lot of points to play for in the league, and obviously an opportunity to get to another final awaits us on Sunday.
Just tactically, their possession-based style with the high defence, do you think that could actually almost play in your hands the way you guys have been enjoying teams who play similarly?
Yeah, it's obviously Sundowns. I think over their season they're close to like 75% average for the season in terms of possession. So the type of players they have right through the squad, starting with Ronwin, they're really comfortable and good on the ball, and that's their DNA. So we know that in certain moments of the game they will have possession and asking us questions in terms of our sort of defensive structure. But we've shown that we've also grown into a team that is not just a transition team or a low block team wanting to just play on the counter. We've also shown that we have ability to continue being a good transition team, but at the same time also a team that when we do have the ball, we also want to ask the opposition questions. So we're going to have to be brave, and we have to be courageous, and we have to just not accept that they will just always have possession. We have to find a way to also nullify that. Otherwise, just the longer you defend, the more difficult it becomes. But we also obviously are mindful that they will have their moments of good control of the game, and it's just basically how we're going to react to that situation. And when we do then sort of win the ball back, what our reaction would be.
Coach, just on the goal set at the beginning of the season and compared to where you guys find yourselves now, unbeaten, 1 cup in the bag already, how do you actually maintain or how do you sustain the highs that you're currently experiencing?
Yeah, I think that's always the challenge for a team to be a good team, to become a great team, which Sundowns are currently a great team. So they have shown that ability to sustain success over a long period of time. So, it's obviously lessons that we need to learn how they've done it. But I do think that it's just the continuous growth of the football club, both on and off the field, that allows you to have that sort of sustainable success. So I think part of our strategy is to be a club that has sustainable success, and that does mean, the way you sort of do your business, the way sort of players are developed within the club to sustain that sort of progression of players coming through the system, and then obviously planning well in advance for any anticipated sort of changes to your squad, that we're on top of things and are able to recruit and replace where required. And I think if you do that, and then your culture and your work ethic and your commitment towards the club and every single staff member and player invested in the success of the club, I think if you have that, and obviously the foundations that we've already built, I think that allows you to then continue growing and to continue being successful.
Coach, I was going through your positions of almost every position in your team, and it's hard to find one where there's not a player who's had a good season or had form. And even when you were like, I look at someone like Anaset over the past 2 months, maybe that was one position that hadn't necessarily jumped up, and now he's jumped up. Is this like the way I know obviously with the 25 match run, that also helps that. But is it a situation where it's made selecting the team easy, and also, or is it the guys behind there that are adding that?
Yeah, I think a combination of all of that. I do think obviously competition does add to the squad having to perform weekly, and I think part of that success has been a consistency in our performances, which has been really good over a long period of time. And as you rightly say, there was a stage where Tony Antonio van Wyk stepped up and was, leading sort of in that position. But he started the season with a goal against Pirates and got us off the board, and whenever he's played, he's had an important role and has shown great qualities. And the same can be said for a player like Mgaga. Whenever he's been called upon, he's started games for us and he's done really well. And when he's called upon, to come on at times, it just adds to the momentum of the squad at that time during the match. Carl Jurgens is, whenever he's been asked to sort of substitute for Dino, has been really superb. I can call him Gava at the back, Oscarine. One can go throughout the whole squad, and even when Janino Palace and Jaden Adams were both out injured, other players stepped up and fulfilled the role. So it's just like, you don't know how to explain it, but everybody is as important as the next player, and I think they all feel that. Even the players that maybe haven't been playing as many minutes, they're as important as the player that's playing every minute, because if not, your training sessions aren't of the right quality and the right intensity. So long may it continue, and hopefully again, if we needed, we can have a big impact off the reserve bench on the weekend if required. But everybody's played an important role.
And then just my other one was about when you look around at all these different tables, whether it be second on the PSL log, first in the DDC, top goal scorer, top assists, it just must warm your heart to see that Stellenbosch is almost competing every possible way. Even Sage.
I think if you look at exactly, whether you're looking at top sort of performing goalkeepers, defenders, I think Ishmael Toure has been one of the best defenders in the league throughout the season. The midfield, obviously seeing players like Jaden really blossom this season and become sort of I think a regular sort of player for Bafana squad, and then obviously Ikram, scoring the goals he does, and then you add a whole lot of others around that are just adding to it. So I don't think you go second on the log having won a trophy, sort of third semi-final in this season without individuals performing well. So all around the squad, individual performances have been really good, and then that obviously adds to the team performance. I think if you look at sort of the front four players currently that have been starting together with a player like Antonio, and they've got maybe close to 40 goals amongst them. So again, it's a shared responsibility, and I think it takes pressure off relying on one person to be scoring the goals for you. So when there's people around you also contributing, I think everybody just flourishes around it. And I think that's been a key success factor. It's just everybody playing an important and good role for the team.
Maybe coach on unrelated one. Have you started maybe looking at the squad for next season?
I've got lunch today with CEO. So no, we have been. I think we have to be mindful. I think what we do well as a club, we plan well in advance. We have short, medium, and long-term sort of planning, and already the planning for next season and beyond has taken place a long while back. And now that we are sort of imminently getting closer to qualifying, it wouldn't be wise for us not to sit around the table and really strategize and make sure that we come up with the right solutions, so that we can continue to be competitive on all fronts.
Coach, last week you spoke about it's now more about consistency and sort of a desire to keep bringing those big performances. Going into a game like this, does it help you that after winning the cup last season, the players now know they are capable of winning big matches? And just when you look at them going into this game, do you see a change compared to before you won the cup, where maybe there was a doubt in the players' eyes that maybe they've reached the top before they get to the final?
No, I do think once you do break that sort of duck and you do win your first trophy, I think it firstly, you feel that joy and you feel that reward that you get for winning a trophy, and that feeling of that success. I think once you have that feeling, your desire then remains high to continue having that sort of desire. And then obviously I think it gives you a lot of confidence and it gives you a lot of belief. I think if you look at our squad now, one of the things that have impressed me is the maturity of the squad. Just firstly in age, and even some of the younger players. Like I keep saying, Devon, Jaden, Antonio, they've got, Jaden's already got over 100 caps, Devon's well on his way to getting there. And the rest of the squad are on their sort of peak performing age. But the maturity, the way we're handling, within matches, getting setbacks, going down, where maybe in the past maybe the players may have dropped their heads a bit. I think this group of players have learned not to lose football matches, and the calmness and composure they show and the desire they show to get themselves back into games and to be dealing with certain situations. That maturity has been really impressive for me this season.
Kirst, you mentioned about strategizing for next season. On social media, there's followers who are strategizing your recruitment. How does that make you feel personally as well?
Strategizing my recruitment, they must phone me and ask. Yes, yeah. No, I think part of football, and whether it's players, whether it's coaches, when there is an element of success, you do get the recognition for your hard work done. But I'm a person that's I just focus on the next day and our next training session, which is a big one tomorrow in preparation for the game on Sunday, and then I concentrate on the league once the cup is over, and I just sort of take each day as it comes, and I just give off my best to the football club. We've laid such a good sort of foundation for this season that we just have to, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, see it through. If we can have a good strong finish in this last month, then it would mean a good strong finish in the league. It would mean possibly playing in another final, and then that's my sole sole focus is to reward this team with the commitment they're giving me, for me to give them the commitment that they deserve, and to achieve what we've set out to achieve.
Coach, just on maybe playing on that, and how much has your own personal hunger for more things grown after winning the Carling knockout? And also, especially with this tournament, because, I mean, it teased you back when you were at Amatux last year, so close with the semi-final, and I know you've always enjoyed this cup. But has winning like the Carling knockout also pushed yourself to be more hungry for those kinds of things?
Yeah, I do think it has, most certainly, and for me, as you say, it's a cup that, back then, making the final and not winning it, and then losing on penalties to make another final. And I enjoy the Nedbank Cup. I think it's a cup of dreams. It's all the clubs in the country are able to win it. So I think it's our sort of FA Cup, special cup to win. So yeah, and then obviously having then won and tasted that sort of success, and seeing the joy of the players, of the staff, of the management of the club. I think that's what rewards one as a coach, is to put in the effort and the hard work, and then to see the reward that everyone gets from it. I think is probably one of the most satisfying sort of feelings as a coach. And yeah, it's once you taste something that tastes really nice and is sweet, I think you want more of it. So yeah, I'm hungry for success. I'm hungry to get into a final again. So yeah, Sunday we will be giving 100%. We will give ourselves the best chance to win the match against a very formidable and a club that we have to have a lot of respect for. But yeah, we also need to be wanting to close the gap as quickly as we can over time. And every time you get a positive result, I think it gives you that confidence for the next step.
Coach, just a word on Nduli. I remember we questioned you guys a lot when you lost Mutetwa in terms of where you're going to find solutions, and you were adamant that there are internal solutions that you can find, since the window was closed at the time. He hardly gets noticed, but we have now, I'm sure people have forgotten that you even had Mutetwa at the beginning of this season. Just a word on what he brings.
Yeah, Sishle is an incredible footballer. Every club that if you look, that have success, they've got those players that are not always in the limelight, not always spoken about. But the amount of work rate he puts in the team, the amount of attacks that he breaks down, he's also comfortable on the ball. He's even adding a bit of an element of getting into good advanced positions. So he's growing and developing, and he's a great character for the squad. Well respected footballer, well respected person amongst his peers. Our DDC players look up to Sishle. They've got a lot of respect for him. So he's an unsung hero. And even me personally, Sishle is just what he's done and what he's doing. I'm sure he'll get his recognition and reward over time. Thank you.
We're just about to wrap up. I'm not sure if you perhaps have something you want to add, having made the trip through.
Yes.
Yes, I don't mind.
Only joking. I don't know if the guys even asked Coach already about the other side on the other meet. How do you beat the team like Mamelodi Sundowns? You've done it before.
It's difficult. Sundowns again have shown that over 30 games they're just really different level. But once-off matches, you do have an opportunity. But it requires you to play at your full potential, and even maybe beyond that, and both in defense and attack. So you have to defend really well. You have to deny them the space and the time in sort of critical areas of the pitch. You have to be well structured, really well organized. And then you've got to be brave enough to also, when you have the ball, to have an element of where you've got to try and make them defend. They have so much good possession that the time defending is very limited, which allows them to have a lot of energy and that to win the ball back quickly. So to beat them, in a nutshell, you have to play really well, you have to defend really well, and when you have your moments in attack, you have to be clinical and ruthless because you don't get too many opportunities.
Is the approach the same in terms of having watched him and having played against him for the past couple of seasons now? Is the approach the same heading into this match?
Yeah, I wouldn't say
What has
exactly the same. I think as a principle, your approach playing a good team like Sundowns, that stays the same. You can't be loose. You have to be really well organized, compact, etc. So those are sort of the obvious things. But we've also got the team that's in good form. We've also got attacking players in really good form. So we have to find a way to be able to feed them and get ourselves into good advanced positions on the pitch and ask them questions as well. So the approach may be a little bit different in the past in terms of that we've got confidence that we can ask questions and make them sort of defend. But yeah, to attack you have to defend well. To defend well you have to attack well. So we have to get both elements right on Sunday.
And speaking about confidence, one of those players is Titus, someone who has spoken about regularly. What's the one thing or a couple of things that you have seen that he has done differently this season as compared to his previous seasons, that has seen him, alongside, I guess, Mafu King for as a young player this season? What has he done differently this season?
Yeah, I think the difference is more consistency. As he matures and gets older and gets more caps, I think just the regularity of what he's doing and the consistency of what he's doing is just more prominent. And that goes with sort of, growing as a younger type player in the PSL. So I think he's reached that level where he knows what he needs to do. He understands what his qualities are. I just think the regularity of his consistency of good actions has improved. I think one of Devon's greatest attributes is his commitment, his work ethic, his attitude, and then coupled with good footballing ability, I think is starting to make him the player that he is.
So you see maturity in his game, but also off the field in terms of him as a person as well.
Yeah, he's just top class character, well respected, well liked, a leader. He captained our DDC team to success. He's not wearing the armband, but in his own right, he's got leadership skills on the field and off the field. So all round, Devon is just a real quality person and a real quality footballer.
Coach, thank you very much for your time.